Hey, brothers and sisters. So this is a parable that has always kind of stumped me, so I wanted to bring it to light today. So what is the meaning of the man without the wedding garments in Matthew 22, verses 1 through 11? Does this parable suggest that some will be able to sneak into the wedding feast? It says, "But when the king came in to see the guests, he saw a man there who did not have a wedding garment. So he said to him, 'Friend, how did you come in here without a wedding garment?' And he was speechless. Then the king said to the servants, 'Bind him hand and foot, take him away and cast him into utter darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.'" In the ancient Oriental marriage feasts, the special wedding garments were provided by the king himself. A feast filled with properly dressed guests would be an honor to the king and to the marriage. So, a person who was not dressed properly would bring dishonor upon the host and ruin the happy occasion. The wedding garment represents the righteousness of Christ. So rejecting the garment represents the rejection of a character that qualifies men to become children of God. Humans have nothing proper of their own to wear, for all our righteous acts are like filthy rags, Isaiah 64:6. They are acceptable in the presence of the holy God only when they accept the perfect righteousness of Jesus Christ. This is the white raiment that Christians are counseled to buy in Revelation 3 and in Revelation 19. The man without a wedding garment represents those Christians who feel no need of a conversion of character. This guest was interested only in eating at the king's table. But he did not appreciate God's gift of salvation that was offered freely to him, and the grace of God that leads to transformation. He had declined the only thing that qualified him to sit at the king's table and enjoy the wedding celebration. The king, in his mercy, was ready to forgive the man if he was able to present a reason for his failure. But the man was speechless, which indicated that he was not innocent. He intentionally rejected the garment provided for him. People are excluded from the kingdom of heaven because of their own choices. The man in the parable was able to enter the hall only by royal invitation. No man can save himself by his own efforts, but he alone can bring condemnation on himself. God is able to save to the uttermost all that come to him, Hebrews 7:25. And he does not condemn any or deny them entrance into the kingdom of heaven. Came in to see the guests, he saw a man there who did not have a wedding garment on. So he said to him, "Friend, how do you come in here without a wedding garment?" And he was speechless. Then the king said to his servants, "Bind him hand and foot, take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." So let's look at that a little further. The marriage was the Son of God, the Messiah or the Christ, to his assembly, the church of his saints, Revelation 21:2. He is the husband of the church, Ephesians 5, verse 25. All of the guests at the wedding feast in the parable of Matthew 22 that are clothed in the proper wedding garments are clothed in Christ. Listen to what it says in Isaiah 61, verse 10. "I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my God. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels." Revelation 3:4 says, "Thou hast a few names, even in Sardis, which have not defiled the garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy." Revelation 19, verses 7 through 9 says, "Let us be glad and rejoice, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her it was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. And he saith unto me, Write, Blessed are those that are called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of God." So we see here the symbolism in Matthew 22 is of the one who is not clothed with the proper wedding garments is one who is not clothed in the righteousness of Christ. We have to be in Christ, Romans 8, verse 1, and covered by his blood, Romans 4, verse 7, Romans 5, verse 9, Ephesians 1, verse 7, Ephesians 2, verse 13, and Hebrews 13, verse 12. Galatians 3:27 says, "For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ." The man in the parable of the wedding feast was not clothed in Christ. It means that those who are not clothed in Christ are not in Christ and will be judged unworthy, just as the man was in the parable of the wedding feast, and will be cast out into eternal punishment and experience the second death.